Jonathan Turley, constitutional law attorney, here to straighten it all out. How you doing, sir? Good morning to you. What the House
Good
today,
morning.
the Senate tomorrow, what can they effectively accomplish?
Well, they need to proceed cautiously because we all value the independence of the court system. That's the reason I've opposed these calls for impeachment. I think they're unwarranted, and I believe that they are dangerous. But there are things that Congress can do. You know, these national injunctions have long been a scourge for presidents who view them as these type of Lilliputian attacks that bind them from hundreds of trial judges. But it's not just presidents. Justices, both liberal and conservative, have objected to this. You know, most recently, Justice Kagan basically said, look, this is insane. We cannot have all these national injunctions. These district court judges have not heard those warnings for years, and that is prompting this move. The other thing that Congress can do, which would be very important, is to try to collapse the timeline. The problem is that these judges issue a temporary restraining order, TRO, that can sit there for 2 weeks before it becomes what's called a preliminary injunction. Only then is there a chance for review. That's a long time, depending on what the policy is, for a president to sit there unable to move because some trial judge has imposed a national injunction.
All right, so Jonathan, former House Majority Leader Rep. Steny Hoyer, the Democrat from Maryland, who's against these hearings, says it's about intimidation. Listen here.
There's no doubt that they want to intimidate the judges. Part of this effort is to put in the judge's mind, whatever judge it is, if you don't go our way, we're going to get you one way or the other.
Your response to that, Jonathan?
Well, I had to chuckle just because some of these Democrats were just previously calling for the removal of Supreme Court justices because they didn't like what they were saying or on trumped-up charges. So, as usual in Washington, you can get dizzy watching the spin from some of these politicians. This is a real issue. Even the liberal justices on the court have objected to the national injunction. So let's put the rhetoric aside. Try to work the problem. I mean, you cannot have a system that is constantly in this disjunctive mode where everyone on a jumbo jet's allowed to try to land it. I mean, there is going to be the necessity of a pilot, in this case the president, to run the executive branch. That doesn't mean that you remove the authority of these judges. They also need to carry out their duties. But there is room for compromise here.
I know you're following the Tesla story. AG Pam Bondi had a video that came out, and she pretty much says that she's going after people. They've got a man in Colorado, and I'll ask you about that after we listen to this.
I've made it clear, if you take part in the wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, we will find you, arrest you, and put you behind bars. All of these cases are a serious threat to public safety. Therefore, there will be no negotiating. We are seeking 20 years in prison. Let this be a warning. You can run, but you cannot hide. Justice is coming.
What is the effect of a message like that?
Well, it is a message that is long overdue. You know, I'm someone who has really argued against the expansion of terrorism definitions. But when you have a campaign to burn dealerships, cars, to attack owners of Teslas for political purposes, that meets most of the definitions of domestic terrorism. And they have signs at these protests saying, "Burn a Tesla, save democracy." That's a very serious matter. Political violence on the left is on the rise, and too few Democratic members have spoken out against it. I have a column coming out in the New York Post on this, that the Democratic Party has got to seriously re-examine how they are approaching this, because this violence is increasing, and it is very dangerous for our system as a whole.
No doubt about that.
All right, Jonathan, thank you for joining us.
On both issues. Thank you, sir. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.